Good morning, welcome to Foreigner in the Philippines. I really feel quite overwhelmed. I'm grateful for all of the encouragement and support and advice that we've been receiving. Beth and I both feel the same. We are overwhelmed by your kindness and your caring about our efforts to have an in vitro, our child by in vitro. And yes, it's going to take a little time. And we had one wonderful letter which was sent to us by Duncan and Joan, and with photographs of their wonderful family now, and they tried for 6 years, and it's success stories like this which really make us when we are and make no mistake, when we got back from Cebu last night, you know, there were some tears, because it's a huge disappointment. We thought that, well, we've taken all the vitamins, we've done the supplements, I've been exercising, and yet the numbers have actually dropped. Not out the bottom, of course, but they've dropped. So that's a change. And in the overall, you have to look at it in the overall program. It just signifies that there is something there which needs to be attended to. So that's what we're going to do. But meantime, your letters and comments, I mean, obviously we get, here and there we get a couple of idiots, and we just delete them and block them. So they matter very little. The important thing is the overwhelming number of encouraging prayers. Just keep going, don't get discouraged, and all of that is just incredible. And Duncan said that he and his wife had tried, as I was about to say, that they tried for 6 years and had been unsuccessful to conceive naturally, and then they went IUI, which actually I confess I'm ignorant of as a procedure for trying to have a child. And then they had several attempts at that, but did not manage to conceive. And then they had the IVF one time, and he said, boom, they were pregnant. And now they have a handsome little boy, and they're very, very proud and very, very happy, and we're hoping to join them. So all of these comments mean a great deal to us, because we're not, we're not bulletproof. We actually come in for an incredible amount of negativity. You know, our age difference, it sets us up as a target. I always say that I don't have a target on my T-shirt for everybody to take pot shots at. So that's why we don't have what others would call a balanced view of things. In other words, when you provide a platform for people to disagree with what you do, that's one thing. Disagreement, what I call civil disagreement, where I'm not talking about disagreeing with the government. I'm talking about, if you say, I don't think you should have a child, well, okay, that's fine, but I'm not you. And then other people. Now, there's a great deal of difference in posing a question saying, do you think that you should have a child at your age? To saying, well, you're just too old. There's a great deal of difference. Guess which one I'm going to delete? It doesn't take it doesn't take a brain surgeon or a rocket scientist to work that out. That I'm not here to have disparaging comments made, so I just get rid of them. In fact, a lot of the time I don't even see them, because Beth tries to get there before me and delete them. So we actually have a program for certain words, and we just get rid of them. So back to just how encouraging it has been. I don't profess to know the exact diet that someone should be on in order to better his chances to conceive a child. And at my age, there are places I'm not as strong as I used to be. That's a fact. I can't lift the weights that I used to do. That's a fact. I can't run as far or as fast because age brings with it its limitations. So now here's a secret which I'm going to let you in on. It's just between you and I, and not for everybody to know. But I've never been this old before, and very few people have actually. So I know that there is stuff there that is going to be very useful, and boy, we appreciate all of the dietary suggestions that have been made, and people are drawing from their experience, not always about themselves, about their friends, people that they know were trying and failing to conceive, and then they started doing one person said, do the melon diet, where you have lots of melons. I could live with that. I love melon. Pomegranates, not quite sure. Pomegranate juice, I'm not quite sure if I can go into Altoris and get pomegranate juice, but what the heck, I'll try. I'll do that. Part of the reason that we really pushed through to have the extension of a storage place and workshop for me was our present guest house started off as a workshop because I intended to go on the tools and do what I was doing before, which was furniture design and build, and I actually intended to do that. And then we got into the channel and our YouTube channel, and as you know, everything just took off. So eventually we said, why don't we have a guest house? And that's what we did. We converted it to a guest house. Now with the storage place, I really want to get back into being able to finish the house, our house, the one that we're living in. And once we have storage where we can actually put more than 20 boxes now, where we're walking in a narrow box corridor at the moment, and we need to get some space. We have more stuff than we need, unlike most people. This is why in the US, statistically speaking, most people's garage is full of stuff, and we are no different. Our house is full of stuff, and it's very difficult to keep anything orderly if the house is full of stuff. George Carlin did an incredible sketch on stuff, and that was very funny. Just type into YouTube George Carlin and stuff, and you will have a good laugh, probably at yourself. That's what I did anyway. So we're trying to get that finished, and you can hear the knocking in the background. That's not opportunity, it is the work crew who are putting up that shelter. And once that's done, we will get to work, and I will get to work, and I will finish our kitchen, which is not going to take weeks and weeks. But I will have a place where I can build units and then just bring them in and fit them. And that will be the plan. Something that I've done many, many, many times. I used to design and build furniture, custom furniture. You can go online. You can actually find some of my pictures of my artwork. You can look at the desk that I did for the office, which we did for here, and which is presently in our office come guest house, which is where it's going to be for the time being. And I'm well familiar with doing that kind of work. I used to be a contractor in the UK, and I earned a very good living for a while until the economy took a dive and people were going bankrupt left, right and centre. And it was after that I came to the US, and I worked as a freelance carpenter for a while, and then later after that I opened my own workshop studio. I became the workshop manager for a company that made movie replicas, and that can be looked up on the internet too. It was called Icons International. Icons replicas, right? So you can look up that and you'll find that there. We really need to just make a change, and we're working on that. And all of your comments, the positive comments, which is what we seek. Why would we sit there and put ourselves through the other? We don't. So the positive comments, and especially informative comments, which are about what people have found to be successful for diet, especially the success stories that people have, like Duncans and Jones. That's a success. That's a great success story, and that's what we really we love to see those. And we've got somebody talking in the background there. I don't know what it's about, but anyway, it's a phone call. That's on the phone. So we're really looking at trying to get things moving, and we're trying now to put some emphasis on our family, and that is something that is going to produce changes. All of our paperwork for our non-profit is it's waiting. We are waiting. We've done all that we can. We're now waiting for pieces of paper to come to us so that we can respond to those, and we are attending to that, and as soon as we can move ahead, then we will be doing so, even if only just to get those boxes given away. We were very disappointed that we couldn't give the contents of the boxes away. It's a lot more than 20 boxes. Nana's got about 8 or 9 of them, or 10, and we've got the rest. And we were hoping that we would be able to give some kids a great Christmas. Well, life's full of disappointments, and we have to learn to deal with them, don't we? But boy, there's a lot of smiles waiting in those boxes right now, and they will be given out, and you will see what we do, which is what we've always done. So, just want to make the comment that as far as giving updates on what we're doing, we intend to do that. It's no great pleasure to come back from Cebu and do a video saying that the numbers went down instead of going up. It opens us up to the idiots. We want to be able to share the real journey, and the real journey is not about smiles. It's not all about smiles. There are a lot of tears, there are a lot of frustrations, there are a lot of disappointments. Can you imagine how Duncan and his wife felt that they tried for 6 years and were not able to conceive, and that then they went through several other procedures and that didn't work? Now, I imagine that there were a few tears there as well, and so that's how it is for us. And there are people that are writing to us and saying thank you for sharing this, because, you know, my wife and I, my husband and I, are going through the same thing, or are planning to. Can you give us a lot of expats have written and said that they're considering the reversal of the tie that they've had done when they thought that they'd finished having children. So the vasectomy ended a lot of thoughts about having children, but just in the same way that was, it was a very good thing when it happened, and now it's not. But now the same ingenuity and skill and medical surgical skill has gone into reversing it, and you can have it reversed, and depending on your age and a lot of other factors, you can then go ahead and have a child naturally. That was our first choice. We went for the vasectomy reversal. We went down to, or up to, Manila, We had that procedure done, and that was about a year ago, just to bring you up to date. That was about a year ago. Now, that was after many years with that vasectomy, okay? So 20, certainly 20 plus years at least. And due to my age, these are all factors which you as a couple, if you're looking at this video in order to find out more, these are all factors that you might want to take into account. Now, a lot of people, of course, I don't know why it is that the negative voices are usually raised first and loudest. Said, no, don't do it. No, don't do that. You know, and then they put forward all kinds of what might otherwise be quite sensible, practical things, like adopt. Why don't you adopt? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Don't do. And they want to control what you're doing. And I'm not complaining about me now, because I don't give a damn what anybody else says about my life. I'm going to go. If I gave a damn about what other people say in a way that would control my life, I wouldn't be where I am now. I wouldn't have what I have. I wouldn't do what I do. But there are other people who may take these considerations, which are so lightly put off. No, don't do that. It's not a good idea. And then, you know, you will get people who interpret the Bible in a certain way, that you can't do this because the Bible said that. And then another one that says Jehovah. Hold on a second. It's your life. It's your life. When you close your eyes and sleep, you are the only one in there. Does that make sense to you? So anybody that has said do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that, they're over there. And the effect of what they have said may be quite damaging to you. I was always interested in being an artist, and at school there was one particularly overbearing, bullying type of kid that came over and said, that's not good. And it took me a long time to get rid of that. In fact, strangely, I'm telling you this now. So these remarks, as much as you may shrug them off, are impacting you. So you need to attend to them. Do what you want to do. If you want to go ahead and have a reversal, then damn it, go and do it. You offer your prayers that you are doing the right thing, and you ask for divine guidance, and you will get divine guidance. But here's the trick about asking for divine guidance. You have to be listening for the answer, and the answer may not come in the way that you think. That's the whole thing. What's that particular prayer that I've heard, which I always thought was very cool, and that is, thank you, Lord, for not giving me what I asked for, instead giving me what I need. And that's one of the things that you might like to think of. Whether you actually ask for guidance to a particular kind of force or power is entirely up to you. And don't let people deter you on that either, because there are so many ways of looking at things, and sometimes the messenger is only part of it. You know, I learned some great things from people that I wouldn't want to spend any time with, but I learned something from them. So try always to find a good lesson. And here's something that I learned a long time ago. When you are looking for the answer to your problem, the answer must be something that you can do something about. So there's no point in saying, I can't do this because it's the weather, because you can't do anything about the weather. It's no use saying, I can't do this because it's Monday today, because it's going to be Monday for the rest of the day. I'm being facetious and oversimplifying things, okay? But the fact is that it must be something that you can do something about. You know, if your business was failing, then work harder, work wiser, work smarter. But don't say it's because nobody wants what I do. No, that's not the way. Remember the two salesmen that went to China? Two salesmen went to China. And they were both shoe salesmen, obviously a long way apart, of course. And Harry, the shoe salesman, he goes there and he looks around and he sends a telegram home. He says, send me a ticket home. He said, nobody's going to buy any shoes here. Nobody wears any shoes. What did the second man, Joe, say? Joe said, send me shoes. Everybody's barefoot. Send me shoes. It depends on how you look at it. Some people say that all events are neutral. All events are neutral. They're neither good nor bad. It depends on how you look at them. And to get it to an end, try to end off in a way that makes sense. All of your comments mean something. You never know that sometimes a comment that you thought nothing of about don't give up, because I had a similar thing, and what I did was I just waited for Tuesday and everything was fine, may be the one that is instrumental in making someone go on. A pat on the shoulder for someone who is in the depths of despair. A pat on the shoulder and a looking over that shoulder and saying, wow, that is one incredible piece of work. And I think you are very talented. It may make them keep on. And so, as I've always said, a hand on the shoulder and a kind word can be the thing that helps somebody to go on. So be free with those. Be free with those. And if you feel negativity, try to look at your own wins and loses. When I was a contractor in England and I was working mainly, at the start I was just working for myself. I was a jobbing carpenter, but part of that would be on doing some other aspect of work that I wasn't used to. And I used to know two people that were very, very clever in their own area of expertise. And if I was uncertain in the beginning, I would go to Joe. Let's call him Joe. I'd go to Joe and I would say, listen, I'm on a job and I'm stuck and I need to know how to attach this widget. I need to know what's the angle of the dangle on the widget. Okay? And he would say, you're doing that yourself? And I said, yes. Can you just tell me, walk me through it? You're doing it yourself? Oh my God. I don't know, is the house on fire yet? No. Harry was quite different. If I called Harry up and said, listen, you know about those widgets? What's the angle of the dangle? And he would say, no problem, you can do that easily. Now, here's what you do. You take the widget in the left hand and the measure of the angle in the... You see what I mean? He made it possible for me to do what was needed. Now, who do you think I used to go to after that? Certainly not the guy that had a steep, oh, you're gonna do what? No, I never went back to him for any advice. Here's the point that I feel it matters for me, and that is when you go and ask somebody for help or advice, they will give you the sum total of all of their own wins and loses. You go to a guy who never had any success handling widgets, and you are wasting your time, because what's he going to say? Oh, I wouldn't touch a widget if you paid me. You go to the guy that knows how to do it and ask him, and he'll say, no problem. I wish I had $1 for every widget I've put up. He'll tell you you can do it. Now, what's the difference? You haven't changed. You're not any more clever. You're not any less clever. You're not any more clever. You're not any more able, any more knowledgeable. It's just that one person has said, you can do this and I'll help you. Here's what you do. And that's the decider for me. Whenever I go to someone who I need to know something, I think to myself, is this a negative person or is it a positive person? When I first planned to build my house out of metal stud, which people don't do, especially here in the Philippines, they're not really that familiar on a local level about metal stud. In fact, the big hardware store didn't even stock it, right? And I mentioned it to one person that I thought was a friend, and I said, I'm going to build my house. He said, oh really? I said, yeah, I'm going to build it out of metal stud. Good luck with that, he said. I never shared my dreams with that person again. Not really. Now, you decide who you're going to share your dreams with. Decide who you're going to talk to about what you want to do, because they will comment on the sum total of their own wins and loses. That's it for me. Thanks for looking in, and thank you for all of the positive encouragement that you have given us. Beth, thank you from the bottom of our hearts, and we will keep you informed honestly about the good and, the disappointing, so that you can assess whether your disappointments are going to stop you from doing anything. Don't let your disappointments do that. Thanks for being with me. Bye for now. And it's still raining.